Hello, I'm Craig Brelsford, and welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with the executives of two public companies. First up is 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals. 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals is a growth oriented biotechnology company with the goal of using cutting edge biological science and applied research to further develop and commercialize new therapies for the prevention and treatment of infectious diseases. 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals has successfully achieved regulatory approval of Aracoda, a malaria preventative treatment that has been on the market since late 2019. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is Aptevo Therapeutics. Aptivo is a clinical stage biotechnology company focused on developing novel immuno-oncology therapies through its proprietary bispecific antibody platforms Adaptir and Adaptir Flex. The company is advancing a diverse pipeline that includes both clinical and preclinical candidates designed to harness the immune system to target hematologic and solid tumors with greater precision and safety. We'll learn more when we speak with the executive vice president later in the show. Before we dive into our first interview, let's take a moment to recognize some of RedChip's top performers in 2024, including Red Cat, up an incredible 1,293% in 2024. Alliance Entertainment, soaring by 842%. Gorilla Technology, which gained 250%. And Nova Minerals, up 149%. These companies have demonstrated the immense potential of the small cap market. Now let's move on to our quote of the week. It comes from the book Small Stocks, Big Money. Work hard, be a long-term thinker, develop tenacity, and remember, nothing happens without taking calculated risks. This quote comes from Phil Sassour of the Phoenix Group, and it is featured in Chapter 9 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's get started with our first interview today with 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals. Hello, today we have Jeff Dow, the CEO, President, and Director of 60 Degrees Pharma. Jeff, great to have you back.
Craig, it's great to see you again.
Jeff, your company has a very clear mission, tackling infectious diseases with unmet medical needs. Let's start with a high-level overview for those hearing about 60 Degrees Pharma for the first time.
Yeah, Craig. So our focus is on new products for infectious disease. We focus on small molecules, so not on antibodies or vaccines. We have a single approved product called Aracoda that's commercially available in the US. That's for malaria prevention. And we're currently focused on developing the commercialization strategy for that product for the intended use. And then we have a very focused research and development program to expand the use of that product to treat a disease called babesiosis, which is transmitted by the same ticks that cause Lyme disease.
Now, just to repeat, you said Aracoda approved for malaria prevention. Now, what I want to know is how big is the market opportunity that you're addressing with Aracoda? And of course, what makes it unique compared to the other available products?
So with respect to malaria prevention, its main feature and benefit is that it's a weekly product, whereas all the other products are daily products. And there aren't any drug resistance issues. So you can imagine if you're a traveler or you're prescribing a medication for a traveler going to a place where malaria is common, having the convenience of weekly dosing and not having to worry about drug resistance issues are pretty important drivers. As we move forward into the tick-borne disease therapeutic area, we see the potential to treat maybe just over 1 million patients with babesiosis over the 10 years remaining on our market exclusivity for malaria. And that might be up to a $1 billion opportunity.
Again, that disease is called babesiosis, Jeff. And of course, as you probably know, many viewers may not have yet heard of babesiosis. Could you go a little bit more deep into babesiosis and why, again, why is it such a big opportunity?
Babesiosis is a little bit like malaria, except that it's transmitted by the same ticks that cause Lyme disease, not mosquitoes. It invades your red blood cells. They burst, causing fever, anemia, and the other acute symptoms. And then, like malaria, babesiosis can also be a long lived infection, and symptoms can recur in a chronic form in many people months or years after the initial infection. It's those chronic presentations of the disease where we think there's a real unmet medical need and a commercial opportunity.
Now, Jeff, you're currently running three different trials for babesiosis. What are you hoping to prove in each one, and when might we see data?
So we've got three trials. They're each focused on a particularly nasty manifestation of babesiosis. So severe disease in hospitalized patients, recurring disease in immunosuppressed patients who have drug resistant parasites, and then in chronic patients who are trying to recover from what we call post-infectious syndromes or symptoms of chronic disease, and the babesiosis is prolonging that recovery time, and so we want to see what our products can do for that group of people.
You also hold patents and options for kelgosavir, chestnut tree extracts, and even veterinary indications. How do these fit into your broader strategy, Jeff? Are they real near term opportunities or longer term bets?
So, of course, we're hopeful that our babesiosis program will produce the first data in 2026 and allow us to submit a supplemental NDA to FDA and get expanded labeling so we can go after that disease. And then the question is, what happens then in terms of our portfolio development? And so we have a number of areas of interest. One of them is in veterinary medicine, and that relates to expanding the use of Aracoda to other tick-borne diseases which affect companion animals like dogs and horses. And then as it relates to our other pipeline program with Solgosavir, we're taking a step back from that and determining whether we can commercialize a botanical extract from the original botanical source material with a more cost-effective and time-effective development strategy. We'll be making those assessments and decisions over the next 12 months.
Jeff, you have guided toward profitability by the fourth quarter of 2026. What are the key levers that will help you hit that goal?
So what we're hoping to do is prove out in a pilot form the commercial case for Aracoda for malaria prevention. So we have partnered with IQVIA, which is a big commercial sales organization. We've hired a couple of inside sales reps to reach out to prescribers who prescribe antimalarials. And we're also have a copay card and just more general outreach. And our goal over the next 6 months is to see at a small scale which of those three things drive sales and increases prescriptions in amongst prescribers who are using at the moment competitor products. And then early next year, we'll make a decision on how to scale that up to reach profitability by the end of 2026.
Final question, Jeff. What's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in 60 Degrees Pharma today?
So, Craig, thanks for asking that. We believe we might be the smallest NASDAQ listed biotech company with a commercial product. And that reflects both our experience. It's not our first rodeo. And so we're confident with our Babesia program that we'll be successful with another FDA approval. And it also reflects perhaps the undervaluing or value proposition of the company where there is that opportunity for growth as we expand sales of an existing commercial product into new therapeutic areas.
Jeff, thank you for sharing with us the story of 60 Degrees Pharma.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Craig, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again in the future.
Now, to get more information on 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals, visit sxtpinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals. Now, let's move on to our next interview today with Aptevo Therapeutics. Hello, we're here today with Jeff Lamothe, the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Aptevo Therapeutics, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol APVO. Aptevo is a clinical stage biotechnology company focused on developing novel, bispecific immunotherapies for the treatment of cancer. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you, Craig. It's great to see you. I'm happy to be here today to talk with you about Aptivo. We've generated a lot of momentum this year with both data and in our pipeline expansion, and I look forward to sharing that story with you.
Jeff, how would you describe Aptivo's strategic focus today, and what distinguishes your approach in the bispecific space?
We've gained a lot of momentum since you last spoke with our CEO, Marvin, in January, and our core mission remains unchanged, Craig. We are in an exciting phase of development and anticipate meeting important milestones in the months ahead. At our heart, Aptivo is focused on the development of bispecific antibodies, designed with the goal of delivering targeted, effective immune engagement while maintaining the kind of safety and tolerability outcomes intended to allow these therapies to be used either alone or in combination with other therapies. While our drug candidates are still in development and have not yet been approved, we're working with growing confidence that our differentiated approach, supported by compelling early clinical data, positions us to deliver meaningful therapeutic advances for patients with high unmet needs. What is new is the increasing breadth of our CD3 engaging portfolio. We have built a pipeline of CD3 molecules that share a common design foundation, our CRISP7-derived binding domain. That domain is unique to Aptivo, and we believe it is a key to unlocking the balance between potency and safety. We've seen positive results in hematologic malignancies like AML, with mapletamig leading the way in the clinic, and we are extending that approach now into solid tumors. This isn't just preclinical theory, Craig. Mapletamig's performance gives us confidence that our design strategy translates to positive patient outcomes. We've always operated as a nimble biotech, staying lean, moving efficiently, and focusing on smart innovation with the greatest potential benefit to patients. But what really drives us is the strength of our team, a group that knows how to take programs from concept to clinic with discipline and focus. So, while our mission has not changed, our opportunity set is expanding. We're advancing a portfolio that we believe can deliver meaningful therapeutic benefit for patients, and that is exactly where we want to be.
Now, that portfolio strategy, Jeff, how does it balance innovation with clinical and commercial opportunity?
When we think about portfolio strategy at Aptivo, it really starts with the patient and the opportunity to bring forward therapies in areas of high unmet need. Every indication we are pursuing, whether in hematologic malignancies or solid tumors, represents a multi-billion-dollar market opportunity. We are intentional about designing agents with distinct mechanisms of action that can address a broad range of cancers and improve outcomes for patients who need better options. And unfortunately, there are millions of patients with that need. Today, Aptivo includes 6 candidates, Craig. That's up from 5 last time we spoke. 3 of these represent our growing suite of CD3 engaging molecules built on a CRISP7 backbone. We believe that CRISP7 is a critical differentiator. These are not off-the-shelf designs. Each molecule is engineered for the unique demands of its target tumor type and characterized by a low cytokine release profile, which has historically been a challenge for competitors in this class. This is important. Developing drugs with reduced toxicity burden opens the door for greater combinability with both standard of care and emerging therapies. Our CD3 suite includes mapletamig now in phase 1/2 clinical trial for frontline AML. We've been impressed with an 85%, I say again, an 85% remission rate and no cytokine release syndrome in frontline patients across 2 trials. We've built our CD3 suite with the addition of APVO 442 for prostate cancer and recently announced APVO 455 for multiple Nectin-4 positive tumors. The other half of our pipeline includes 3 additional molecules with differentiated mechanisms, including clinical candidate ALG APV 527 and preclinical candidates APVO 711 and APVO 603. These molecules are designed to target a range of solid tumors. We've structured our pipeline to balance innovation with real-world clinical potential, giving us multiple shots on goal and, we believe, the potential to make a meaningful difference for patients.
Now, Jeff, mypletamig continues to deliver promising data as you've just been outlining. What do the results mean for patients, and how do you translate clinical success into long-term impact?
And we are really encouraged, Craig, by the continued success of mepletamig in the clinic. Based on what we've seen so far, the data continue to validate everything we believe about its potential. The data show that mepletamig is demonstrating a strong safety and tolerability profile alongside meaningful clinical activity. In our ongoing frontline AML study of evaluable patients reported on to date, 85% have achieved remission across 2 trials. This is a compelling result in a high-need population where treatment options are often limited, especially for patients who cannot tolerate intensive chemotherapy. Equally important, our safety and tolerability profile is encouraging. For example, we have observed no cytokine release syndrome in frontline patients to date. Mepletamig's performance underscores its differentiated mechanism of action, designed to activate the immune system precisely against leukemic cells while reducing off-target effects. That precision is why mepletamig stands at the forefront of our CD3 engaging profile. It is the proof of concept for our engineering strategy. Looking ahead, we see real potential for mepletamig to define the standard of care in frontline AML. Of course, continued evaluation will be key, but we believe these results are an important step forward, not just for Aptivo, but for patients who urgently need safer, more effective treatment options. This is the kind of impact we aim for, advancing therapies that change the conversation around care in some of the toughest cancers we face.
Turning to execution, Jeff, you've got so much working for you, and it's such an important area. But what about things like operational excellence in resource management and advancing a pipeline like Aptivo's? What do you think there?
Yeah, Craig. Well, for us, operational excellence really comes down to staying disciplined and focusing on the science, especially in a market environment that demands both agility and smart resource management. Through this challenging time, we've stayed committed to driving near-term value while expanding our pipeline to ensure long-term opportunity. We operate with a true biotech mindset. We're disciplined, we're lean, we're always aligning our resources to move the science forward. The funds we deploy are tied to advancing our pipeline or generating data that informs our next step. Our recent financing has extended our runway, but has not changed our focus on capital efficiency and making smart strategic decisions where we invest. So, operationally, we've built strong processes around trial execution, data readouts, and portfolio decision making sure we're positioned to move quickly when the data supports it. And that includes prioritizing programs that have the clearest path to value creation for both patients and shareholders.
Personal question for you, Jeff. What excites you the most about Aptivo's next chapter?
Sure, yeah. What excites me the most about Aptivo's next chapter is really the momentum we're building on multiple fronts. Starting with mepletamig, we believe this program has real potential to shift the treatment landscape in frontline AML. The remission rates we're seeing, combined with the strong safety profile, reinforce our confidence that mepletamig could become a meaningful option for patients who historically have had few. And that is really where it starts for us and for me, with patients. Our goal is to improve outcomes and provide new options, especially in settings where treatment choices are limited or the standard of care still leaves patients at risk. Whether it is AML or a range of solid tumors that we are pursuing, that mission drives us in everything we do. As part of that, We're focused on advancing therapies that offer safety and tolerability advantages, an example being our CRIS7 differentiation. We believe it can enable better combinations and ultimately better outcomes. We also have a high degree of confidence in our ability to execute, whether that is progressing our pipeline, making smart strategic choices, or building meaningful partnerships, with all of these actions geared toward creating value for shareholders. What is unique about Aptivo is where we sit in the biotech landscape. We're at the intersection of strong science, operational discipline, and real clinical relevance. That gives us the opportunity to not just participate in the field of bispecifics and multispecifics, but to become a recognized leader here, anchored by two powerful and versatile proprietary drug development platforms.
Final question, Jeff, and again, it's a personal one for you. What has been the most rewarding part of leading at this stage of Aptivo's evolution?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to think about this, Craig. When I think about leading at Aptivo, several things come to mind. First off, it's having the privilege of working alongside my dedicated and talented teammates and colleagues, many of whom have been with us since the beginning. This is a group of people who have built Aptivo with a shared sense of purpose, and it has been incredible seeing the team deliver milestone after milestone as we've taken programs from concept to clinic and seeing preclinical promise turn into clinical reality. Second, it's been deeply rewarding to see the company mature without losing the entrepreneurial spirit that got us here. We've stayed nimble, we've stayed hungry, and that is not something that every company can say. And third, and most important to me, Craig, we understand that we can do something big. We have positively impacted patients' lives and have the opportunity to continue doing that. Seeing patients respond to our therapies, knowing that in some cases we have already made a difference for people with very few options, is a privilege that I value highly. And it is what keeps us motivated to do more, to push the science forward, and to reach even more patients in the future.
Jeff, great to meet you today, and thanks for sharing the great Aptivo story with us.
Likewise, Craig, it's been great speaking with you. We appreciate the opportunity to talk everything Aptivo and hope to share a new update with you again, perhaps around the end of the year.
Now, to get more information on Aptevo Therapeutics, visit apvoinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RED-CHIP to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like Aptevo Therapeutics. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. And also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can order Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon for $18. Now, let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals, SXTP on the NASDAQ. 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals is a growth-oriented biotechnology company with a goal of using cutting-edge biological science and applied research to further develop and commercialize new therapies for the prevention and treatment of infectious diseases. 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals has successfully achieved regulatory approval of Ericota, a malaria preventative treatment that has been on the market since 2019. Learn more at www.sxtpinfo.com. Then you met Aptevo Therapeutics, APVO, on the NASDAQ. Aptevo Therapeutics is a clinical stage biotechnology company focused on developing novel immuno-oncology therapies through its proprietary bispecific antibody platforms Adaptir and Adaptir Flex. The company is advancing a diverse pipeline that includes both clinical and preclinical candidates designed to harness the immune system to target hematologic and solid tumors with greater precision and safety. Learn more at www.apvoinfo.com. Don't forget to check out our stocks page. It is the biggest small-cap stock portal in the industry. It has every company listed on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange whose market caps are $2 billion and less, and it's categorized by industries. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel, and be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small-cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. In closing, remember, while small-cap stocks can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small-cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies. So please, always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting emerging growth companies.